In business, essentially, all we're doing here is problem solving constantly.
Having to log into multiple platforms. But if you multiply that by 20, 50 restaurants happening, and now you got 10, restaurant operators doing it.
The goal here is to take the data and create some action items for it, and give it to the right people.
Marco A. Herrera, prove it. Okay, come apply at F&P, dude. Come work here. You know what I mean?
Have you fired a single person because of it?
It happened in this company, and people quit.
AI is going to replace people. Be ready.
Every morning, our restaurant gets audited by an AI agent, and if something's wrong, everyone finds out. We're talking about missed deposits, cash shorts, cash overs. The audit finds it, flags it, and alerts the right people, and if anyone has to ask anything. Talking a little bit about the problem, I have a question for y'all. When something slips through, what's the real damage? Missing deposits.
Yeah. I'm going to go in a tiny different direction. Do you have an answer to that?
No, I like to hear what you have to say.
When something slips through, what's the damage, right? That's the question. My answer to that is, and y'all know me, but I always kind of go look at things with a slightly different lens. But these actions take discipline and take routine, daily tasks, the mundane part of our business, and drive it to perfection. I am perfectly okay with all of us saying, hey guys, we didn't turn that in. Hey, what happened? Hey, George, what happened, dude? You didn't turn in your deposit. Peer-to-peer group, direct report, who you report to, calling you, hey man, you saw that from the head office, what happened? That's a function of discipline. So what happens when it falls through the cracks? Our accountability metric in our culture is cracking, right? It's falling. People aren't doing what they should be doing on a daily basis. If this was a metric to be measuring somebody's mental capacity, emotional capacity, their smartness, whatever you want to call it, we wouldn't be putting this on blast. Because we're not here to undermine people. We're not here to make people feel inferior. But this is not one of those tasks. This is, your deposit needs to hit the bank every single day. Your data on R365 and your back office needs to be reconciled every single day. Like, these are just the mundane tasks. And so to answer your question, when it falls through the crack, it's highlighting that we either have an accountability problem, we either have a data problem, an accuracy problem, and yes, we should all be aware of it so we can tackle it and learn from one another.
A training problem, even?
Training problem? Yeah. Exactly.
And my mind kind of takes me to thinking about a single restaurant operator versus a restaurant operator, and where a single unit operator might be able to let little things slip every now and then, like, hey, you know what, I'm short-staffed, I don't have somebody to go and do the deposit right now, or hey, I don't have time to pull the report right now. But if you multiply that by 20, 50 restaurants happening, and now you got 10, restaurant operators doing it, it becomes a operational nightmare, I can imagine. So
even an accounting nightmare.
And an accounting, yeah, you're right. So cool. I wanted to know a little bit about that, and I kind of want to talk also about what's been built to actually make this agent do these audits. So John, can you walk us through what actually works? Like, how does this actually work? How does the system know when something's wrong?
So yeah, like when what was it, like 3 months ago maybe, when we sat in that room and looked through all of accounting, put those 160,000 transactions into that document to give us a lay of the land. One of the questions that was popping out was what are we doing with our daily kind of audits? Are we doing that daily? Is it weekly? What's going on there? And a lot of the response that we got was, it's way too much work to look at R365, PAR, DL, all the different kind of POS dashboards or reports, compare those against each other on a daily basis, and then take that, if there's any missing deposits or cash overs, cash shorts, take that and then make some action items on that. Have operations get involved, go and talk with our team and figure out what happened there, and then go back at the end of the day and then approve those transactions or improve those daily audits so that our accounting is sound. And that seemed like a pretty easy win for us to use AI to go in, do that audit for us. So it's not manually done and being compared on a spreadsheet between different documents and reports and stuff. And then send that out automatically to those stores and to those managers and so on, to be accountable for themselves, versus over here having our office staff be accountable for them.
So I'm thinking about a lot of things like when I hear John say that, because you mentioned having to log into multiple platforms, your back office computers, you're talking about dashboards to pull reports. And like my mind just goes crazy. And Bob, you've probably experienced this too when you're trying to find certain data, and even our operational team just going in there and waiting for something to happen, I guess is where my mind goes. How do you even find all those things? Like what does your typical operator do today to find out if something's missing? Is it just a matter of logging into a bank account, or is it a matter of pulling reports? I mean, how does
Operator,
one
what
find
do you mean
out?
by operator? The owner, the manager, or
All the above.
well, I have so many thoughts running through my head right now because I'm not fully. I love what we built. I'm not fully satisfied where it's at because as you were talking, all I'm thinking about is how do we make how we operate at the company the closest to how we operate in daily life without sacrificing control or liability, right? So, meaning that's coming through an email. Well, that's great, but that's work, right? If we were talking about, I mean, not if we were talking about maybe potentially investing in hardware. What if you had a specific hardware, a telephone, iPhone, whatever? Calling it a telephone felt weird. It's not really a
Still
telephone,
feels
right?
weird calling iPhone an iPhone.
iPhone, right?
Yeah.
iPhone. If you had that and you could get those alerts through a text, as if your friend was texting you, I think we would probably, my guess is we would see better results.
Yeah, all of them are being delivered by email, but the
Right.
question lies like, what is better than that, and how can we make this even easier for the end user, or the end receiver, I guess? Because be it an app, push notification, a text message, even an automated phone call or something. whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So those are that's what I'm thinking about. But I'm backing into the answer to your question is in business, essentially all we're doing here is problem solving constantly, right? And we're trying to solve problems and trying to look at our business and say where does the opportunity lie and how healthy is the business? And when you're trying to solve problems, you're looking at either data sets or human behavior or processes and being able to identify what the problems are. But you have to go physically go look for those problems because you don't really see them, right? If you saw 10 people standing in a line, you don't know who's the good person, the bad person. You need to see it work, right? And then you need to go look. So with that analogy in mind, if you have push notifications, that's why push notifications and flash reports got so popular so fast, because you were being pushed the information, then you can be proactive because now you're not spending time to go look for that. The information's being pushed towards you, right? So to answer your question, there's multiple departments that build checks and balances, right? You have your accounting team, you have your finance team, you have your operational team, even IT in this function, because we've seen some discrepancies with routing or pricing, et cetera. So you try to build those checks and balances, but at the end of the day, it's what KPIs do we need to focus on, and how can we get that information sent to us in the most user-friendly way, right? And so that's the best way I can describe that. Flip the script. Like, yes, you can go look into your bank account. Yes, you can go look into your EPOS. You can go look at your closeout from the night before, et cetera. But it should be managing by exception, not trying to go look at every single thing, right? So kind of answered your question, but kind of didn't.
And I mean, having to log into every one of those things, I mean, at the end of the day, it's spending so much time and effort having to go in there, pull those things, analyze those things, make calculations.
And so that's why this is important, is because people watching this may assume, well, what's the difference? The difference is that the push is not coming organically from some software that we're paying for. It's coming from our management team because we created this push using AI, created these reports using AI. John built these, you know, so the fact that he's building them and pushing them, yes, we're talking about something that's, it's not earth shattering, a push notification or an email or anything, but it's not coming from a piece of technology or software that we're paying for. It's coming from what KPIs do we want to see, what data points do we want to see, and how do we want to see it. We build it and then implement that on a daily basis. And that's the power. That's the shift of power we've been talking about so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And John, when you said, you know, we have AI going in there and getting this information for us, I can't help but, you know, for the viewers out there and, you know, the operators out there, what exactly do you mean by having AI go in there and get something for you? Because for your typical AI user out there, it's very easy to assume like, well, what do I do? Do I just get on ChatGPT or Claude and just ask it, hey, get me this information? Or how do you build something like that? What exactly does it take to make an AI go in somewhere and grab information?
For this specific use case, we talked about this before, right? If there's no API integration, how do we acquire that information? How do we get that data so that we can do something from it? And that's where we did some scheduled reports from both Decision Logic and PAR. And we had those send them over to our agent email. And in that email, that's allowing us to pull those reports daily, compare and audit against R365, which we have API access to. Excuse me. And then that pretty much is where all the magic happens, and gives us a visual report on a dashboard. But also the real magic is what Bob's talking about, where it's pushing these via over email. Now, email is where we're starting, and ideally not where we end up in this journey here, because we are without a doubt trying to maximize our effort here and make it as simple as possible for the DM or GM or even Marcus, who is looking at these reports constantly. So where that goes, we don't know just yet, but I think we're figuring it out. But we've definitely have simplified the process to make this an extensive daily project that was done weekly practically into something that is done now daily, consistently, without really any sweat off anybody's back.
John, I'm just curious, but how often prior to RestroTech were you explaining what you were building? I'm just curious.
Never.
Never.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So
I always built behind a computer and shipped, and then moved on to the next build. And then shipped.
Because you were either remotely talking to people, digitally talking to people, or building for yourself, right?
Mainly building for myself. Well, when I was building for clients and stuff like that, I was really just talking to the client. They were expressing everything, vocally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was always just behind a computer.
I was just curious about that because it is a little bit difficult, and that's why I'm interested in two things. One, I think screen sharing would be really helpful, right? And we're working on that. But two, let's make this live. Let's make it live, dude. I don't care to have. I mean, the YouTube videos are great, right? But we understand that we're not. At the end of the day, we're not content creators. We're creating content. But we're not content creators. So if we make this live and get people on here to engage and to ask the questions that they want to ask and participate in the conversation, I think that would be better. And so I don't know where my cam is. Rudy, what cam is it? This one? Okay, if you're listening to this and you think it should be live, comment live. Tell these guys to go live. We should go live. I think it's better. I envision something that we can start either our week or our day where we can have this live and we can have a chat and we can start to engage in people that are out here doing what we're doing.
Yeah, because we're telling everybody how we did it, right? But I mean, there's going to be a bunch of questions for how they can do it, and also with their general flow, because it's going to be different from us and the softwares we're using and the providers we're using. So yeah, injecting any questions to this would be ideal for sure.
We also, Rudy and I are going to start a pod where all we do is just jam out and dance for 40 minutes. Dude.
Hey, F&P Lo-Fi.
Yeah, Lo-Fi, right? F&P Lo-Fi, dude. We're like, man, there's so much conversation going on around here. We should just do one where it's like no conversation.
Bob's bobbing.
Yeah,
I love it.
Literally don't talk. That's funny.
But I do have some screen share stuff if you want me to go through it. I can show kind of what was built a little bit.
Check it out.
Yeah. So Rudy, if you don't mind throwing that on there. Cool. So dashboard's nothing crazy. This is mainly just a place for some of our staff to come over here, look at this, some of the team members to kind of just analyze what is sent over email. But really the real magic is what happens from this audit here, which is just separating the different divisions. Once again, this is demo information. This is not a real live dashboard. This is something we built specifically for this purpose, like many other videos. And yeah, let's get into what's really valuable here. So out of 5 different types of emails that are sent out from this report, there's one that is our general overview. This includes net variances so that our staff over here, our team members, know if there is a net variance on any specific location. It might be due to a POS key that's showing a new discount. It could be credits from DoorDash or any delivery stuff like that. But that is just allowing our team on the operational side to make those adjustments in the back end. But also gives you the brief overview of deposits and cash over, cash shorts as well. And this, from just an immediate glance, kind of tells you what needs to be done. We'll talk about an operations view of this, which removes the net over and net shorts because that's not needed operationally. As for like Marcus and DMs and GMs and so and stuff. So they can go in here, look at these cash overs, cash shorts, and deposits, and make an instant action from this. But we don't want to just leave that in the hands of someone like Marcus, our VP of operations, or even just the district managers. We want our team themselves to be accountable and make these changes quickly. So that's where these next ones come in. So like a missing deposit alert for a single location, just to allowing them ample time. So these are pretty much sent out, I think, around 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Gives them ample time to make that correction, be it make it to the bank to get that deposited, or a majority of the time it's just going into your back office and editing that really quickly and just saying that the deposit was made. Because that's really a lot where a lot of the problems lie. It's just going and making sure you are complying with our back office software or whatever.
Yeah. And maybe this is completely incorrect, so put an asterisk next to this, but I think that people still operate today where an accounting team tells a director, and a director tells their area supervisor, and the area supervisor tells the GM, and at the end of the day, the GM wasn't even on shift, so they're calling their manager and saying, hey, what happened? Head office called, like, dude, it's 2026, like, get out of here.
Ideally, we're cutting that whole chain and just go straight to
and all of these people in an ideal world are way overqualified to play telephone, like at the end of the day, you know, and we're not here to just move messaging around. It's like, get it to the source and then let a director and let an area manager do what they're good at, which is take care of our team members, take care of the business, take care of our customers. And yeah, that's why I love bypassing that. I know a lot of people live in this side, but then I'm sure there's still a lot of people that, this is what you do is you pick up, you look at it, there's somebody in the office, and they pick up the phone, and then they start calling, and here goes, head office is calling. Right?
Yep. Yeah. The majority of the time when I talk to Marcus about these things, like any big ones that might happen, by the time he gets on it, the team member has already handled it. The DM's already been in conversation with the team member, and by the time Marcus talks to them about it, there's an answer and a fix already happening. So it allows for that instant action that you're talking about instead of this chain effect that gets down to hours of communication that could have just been an instant notification. So that's the missing deposits. Cash over, cash shorts are very similar. And it's just giving them room and time to get this fixed as they walk into their day or to their restaurant for the day. But yeah, so all from this initial audit here that is happening from 3 different reports, we're getting these 5 different sets of emails that are being sent out to the appropriate people. Thanks, Rudy. And that's kind of, it's simple, right? I mean, it looks simple from this end. It was a little bit of complex to build, but really the goal here is to take the data and create some action items for it and give it to the right people so they can act on it.
So how does this replace people?
No, nothing at all. Not a single person.
How does this take someone's job?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It just empowers those people who are already in those jobs. Like,
and how does it empower?
It helps them with accountability without being confronted by somebody. Like somebody having to pick up that phone and scream at them or get mad.
Too.
You know, it is in some operations. Some people operate that way.
Because here goes the first comment. The goal isn't to replace, but to empower. Wow. sounds like something that fell out of the back of a horse, or something that smells like the south end of a northbound cow. My question would be, empower who exactly? Certainly not normal employees. Business owners, maybe, for a few until it doesn't. Anyone believing the phrase thoughtful AI implementation is swallowing this BS hook, line, and sinker. That's Michael Payne on F&P Group's Facebook. The post that we posted about the AI isn't replacing the human touch, it's protecting it. So all jokes aside, I completely understand some of the fear, and I want to go through some more of these comments. I think it's very important that we address this, and I didn't know about it until days later. So either we push out this video or we reroute to a link. But another comment before I get back to the Michael Payne one, there's Marco A. Herrera, prove it. Okay, prove it. Come apply at F&P, dude. Come work here. You know what I mean? Or prove it. Come watch the YouTube videos.
Have you fired a single person because of it?
No, absolutely not. You know, and so the question is, and we even went this far. The question would be is, if your tasks get eliminated and the value proposition of this person still being here is, do you start to work 2 to 3 days a week, or do you take on more work, right?
Yeah.
Those are the type of conversations that I'm genuinely having with people that I value, right? So I don't need to prove it to anybody. And I'm also not angry at these people because they're dealing with context in the world that's not this. And I get that. And that's normal. AI is used for greed in a lot of different ways. We saw that largely with a bunch of companies that cut a bunch of jobs.
That they're hiring them all back.
And they're hiring them all back.
Yes.
So I get it. So to all the people here that commented on our Facebook post, I get it. I feel for you. I understand why you might be approaching it with fear. I don't understand why you come onto people's Facebook and start bashing people. I'll never understand that, right? But sharing your thoughts and sharing your belief is great. So come do it in this comment section, or come onto the pod and talk about why you feel this way. And I think it's important. And it's not to call anyone out. It's to bring this new found awareness to a new technology. And so I think you're going to have bad people, and you're going to have good people, and you're going to have shitty people, and then you're going to have great people, and you're going to have bad leaders, and you're going to have good leaders. And they're going to view the tool differently. And so back to this example, no, this is not cutting out anybody's job. It's freeing up people part of their day so that, one, they can focus on what we want to focus on, which is people. But don't forget the other non-negotiable that we have, which is family first. And it creates quality of life. So that you're not working to death and working 100 hours a week. Your value proposition is still here at the company. You're doing a great job as a leader and as manager, but you have a normal life. You know what I mean? Like, you have a normal life. Like, nobody here is advocating to hire workaholics. Frankly, workaholics are kind of inefficient in some sense, right? Now, there are some unicorns, right, in that recipe, but largely in tasks that deal with this type of stuff, workaholics are inefficient. And so we're not aspiring to have a culture of workaholics. That's what we talk about: work smarter, not harder, hungry, humble, smart, things like that. So anyways, the goal, he thinks it's horseshit. It's not, the comment's actually very funny because it's like a very passive aggressive. Like, he was,
it's
like,
a very funny comment. It's well done.
It is well done. And I'll tell you why it's well done, because it's not very what I want to say, like, it's not very vulgar. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like the nicest way you can say y'all are full of shit. Sandy Lee, sorry, but I don't buy it. Michael Strong, so AI eliminates your job to empower you down into a lower class. Not sure what that means, Michael, but nobody's been eliminated for AI. Again, can't speak for everyone, but these are comments directed to us, so that's why I'm answering them.
It's a wildly strong tool, and it's up to leadership. You can take it in very many directions, but
you can, and that's why I empathize. But at the same time, it doesn't sit well with me that somebody essentially is sharing their opinion on our pages and we don't respond. Respond, right? And I'm not saying everybody deserves a response, but I certainly want to make sure that we drive our point, right? Which is, thoughtful AI is a thing. You know? Just like, what was the one that I was telling you about? I think it's there's a whole group around it with a bunch of business leaders. Remember we ran into it at TRA, but it's like conscious business owners or conscious entrepreneurship, et cetera. But it's people that use businesses for good, right? And I feel like you're going to have two buckets, right? And I know the people that are just after money, right?
Efficiencies.
But I think it's short term. Yeah,
That's the way they put them.
Yeah, not throwing any other brand under the bus on this pod right now, but we heard that just last week, right? Where somebody was using AI, and the question was, well, how can we become more efficient, and how can we go from 8 cashiers down to 6 cashiers? That was literally the question. Now, maybe they didn't mean those 2 people lose their job, but in most cases, it probably did mean that.
Just it's the way you look at it. It's just you can look at it one way or another. So, but yeah, do you remember that video of Burger King? We talked about this before, but not the video itself. There's a video of Burger King from like, I don't remember exactly what time frame, but it was when they first introduced a credit card machine, and all the people inside of the Burger King are just freaking out. Like I would never use that. I would, no,
No, I don't remember that, but it happened in this company, and people quit.
Yeah. I remember
Literally,
you having this
people
conversation.
quit.
About yeah. That'd be a funny video to pull up, Rudy, at some point.
Cash or credit?
What? The home of the Whopper is offering cash or credit.
I think it's pretty bad if you have to use a credit card when you go to a fast food restaurant for something as little as $3.10.
If I use my GM card, I get a 5% rebate.
Thank you.
If I eat here long enough, I'll be able to buy a pickup truck.
Burger King bosses say workers won't have to figure out how much change the customer gets back.
I just hope it doesn't slow things down at the cash and carry, that people are going to be having to call New York and get the confirmation or whatever it is, because when I want a Whopper, I want it now.
Just another way to spend money. I'm sure it'll work for people on vacation when they don't have to do something, but I can't imagine it working on a day-to-day basis here.
So far, the smallest credit has been for $2.50, the largest just over 10.
Well, there's a couple more here. So one, Jeff Mazura, AI is not your friend. Neither is this remote. It's a piece of technology, right? Like, I'm not expecting it to be our friend. Prove it, Marco Herrera. Hey man, thanks for your interest. Tap into RestroTech or come check out our YouTube videos, or come, dude. I don't feel the need to prove anything, but the proof is out there, right? Look us up. AI is nothing but theft or copying someone else's hard work. That's a pretty strong statement. And I kind of like that statement, to be honest, because there's a lot
of it happening in the art side of it.
Yeah, correct. And so when I read this one, I thought, this is somebody that actually stopped to really think about this. And it is the worst possible fad currently happening in education, the arts, the natural environment, and national employment opportunities. Fortunately, some wise and morally responsible people in Congress, such as Senators Bernie Sanders, Josh Hawley, and AOC, are arguing limitations on AI. They're campaigning for I'm going to skip this part just because I don't know half of the words here. Not smart enough. Should ask AI. Just kidding. To further threaten our natural resources, endanger humanity itself, and generate more money for billionaires. So that's an interesting take. It's a very interesting take. Don't entirely agree with some of the personalities and the powers that be here that were mentioned, but I like Juliet Haynes Mofford. I like that approach because there's a lot of truth to that. There is this vacuum of data and skills, and now it's being able to regurgitate and be able to share this in a different way. I don't know if that makes visual sense. Again, I know we're going to get back to some of this, but I thought it was important that we go through some of this because it explains what people are really feeling and thinking out there. Bronson Rogers, nonsense, we're being replaced. Bronson, you don't work at F&P, you're not being replaced. Yes, it is destroying jobs for humans. It's taking over, you idiot. They're going to need quite a few people at first to build these big power places and do, okay, I'm just gonna skip that one. That one doesn't make any sense. If Trump doesn't destroy us, AI will. It doesn't take a genius to realize this. Interesting take. Bullcrap, lies, AI sucks, bullshit. AI will make scammed and crooks richer. AI is no one's friends. It is evil. What do you think about that one?
Which one? There's a lot of them there.
Well, it was all one comment. Bullshit.
Oh wow.
AI will.
That's a
I
crazy
thought that was
comment.
multiple.
AI will make scammed and crooks richer. AI is no one's friend. It is evil.
To quote my favorite uncle, with great power comes great responsibility.
That's a good quote with this. I stopped because this person's not wrong. People that are malicious and are scammers and crooks are going to use AI, and they're going to
use anything.
Yeah, they're going to use anything, right? So again, goes back to what you just shared. But walk us through, John, some of what have you heard with AI, and what are you seeing in the industry with hacking and getting into people's accounts, etc.
Yeah, luckily there's a lot of firewalls in place, specifically with something like Fable 5, right? And kind of like how Claude is having to go back and forth with removing access and giving access and limiting it all into the US. So I think we're starting to enter the little bit of a crazy realm when it comes to how powerful these models are. So what's to happen next is going to be interesting to keep an eye on, because they are becoming powerful to the point where it can be pretty negative in what happens when somebody, like the wrong person, gets their hands on it, right? So finding, I think, additional firewalls and ways to mitigate those problems is ideal, and I think where everybody's kind of focusing on right now. But I think in the corporate realm, I think we saw there's two types of questions. How can I help my staff become better at their job, or how can I get rid of my staff and replace them with AI? Those are the two questions. Those are the two questions that I think leadership is asking all over the place. And sadly, I think we had a huge portion of our kind of Fortune 500 corporate environments that were asking the wrong question at first, and led to mass firings. I think we're like at 50, 60,000 or something like that. It's not an astronomical amount per se, but it's still a heavy amount of firings that are being recorded based off of AI. But the same companies are coming back now and hiring a fourth to half of what they fired, and trying to recoup a lot of that, because it's not going to replace those people in any way, shape, or form. It could have empowered them to do a way better job and provide even more, I'm going to say the word efficiencies for the company, but for themselves as human beings and employees of a company. But I think you're seeing a lot of those companies that were firing now hiring. You're seeing these heavy models that are coming out with a lot of powers being scrutinized by the government and its peers. And a lot of those companies are now focusing on the security behind those model releases, which is incredible. But yeah, what am I seeing in this environment? A lot of what you're saying right now, from a lot of people, for sure. But still, there's a good side to all of it, and there's people who I believe like us, who are trying to look at this as an empowerment tool for our team members, and giving them superpowers to do their job better and to be less in front of a computer and more boots on the ground to what is needed to get done. Yeah.
What about the cybersecurity side? Talking about hackers and scammers and stuff, but how are you leveraging AI to improve cybersecurity?
Yeah. So we're really just trying to make our systems so much more secure. So really, it's having AI go into our systems and try to audit them, see if there's any flaws in our firewalls.
Try to attack them.
Yeah, basically lock them down. So preventing any hackers from coming in and
we do security audits weekly, and with the newest models and stuff. Like when Fable 5 first came out, the first thing that we did was a mass security audit on all of our systems to see where it could find flaws that it could attack, and then fill those up. Yeah, and that's a constant thing.
The next one is what's it, STFU, but it's just like shut the fuck up with a yawn face. I don't know why I find it so funny when I read these comments, because it's like, what I wonder what that guy's doing, right? Like, is he just like chilling or whatever, and he's just like shut the fuck up? Oh, hey mom, like how you doing? Like I was just telling someone shut the fuck up online. Like, it's just wildly interesting to me, and to think about. But anyways, I know a lot of these people don't take the time to understand what's F&P Group, whose page is this. They see a thread and they start going to town.
To them, it's another company talking about it. Yeah.
Exactly, right? What's tough is, like, if you go to this guy, he doesn't have a name, but I come to his post. His last post is about FIFA. I'm assuming that he likes FIFA. Yeah, he has a couple posts about FIFA, right? So, do you think FIFA is going to start promoting AI and how they're using AI? No. But do you think they're probably using it or working with companies that use AI in the content, creation realm or in data or in yeah, I mean, I was just thinking this morning. I was thinking like, dang, when you talk about play recognition and when you talk about looking at things from a sports standpoint, there's probably a whole sector that's booming
Well, they have massive amounts of AI integrated in all their systems.
wildly,
Yeah.
right? So
Even like the ball itself has AI sensors that are being audited by AI.
yeah, so it goes back to that. That's the risk that we're running, right? It's like the loudest in the room or whatever. We got asked to speak on AI. We went to go speak about AI, and then all of a sudden we got bombarded with these comments. But we're supporting other organizations that are also using and living in this new norm, right? And so our job, I feel, entirely responsible, is to empower our team to not fall behind and one, raise awareness. Hey guys, this is the world we live in today, and let people make decisions for themselves, right? But two, empower people. I always laugh because it goes back to the TI-83 calculator, right? Like we never fully understood how to use that, right? But you knew you were at a disadvantage in a math class if you had a normal calculator versus a TI-83 calculator, right? You just couldn't do all the math functions that a TI-83 could do. So, anyways, did you pull something up here or?
Oh no, I was just looking at this myself. Yeah.
Yeah, these organizations are using this stuff. So
for sure.
So by virtue of
but
supporting
they're using
others,
it as a tool because a lot of people just think AGI is here and that we have these sentient AI systems that just exist and can function as a human being all day. That it's sci-fi in itself.
Yeah.
Right now.
So a lot of, I know I'm going way too long, but again, we this is important. Wanted to at least address it and also share on this pod that the general sentiment or the sentiment that's very vocal is fear and negativity.
Yes, very much.
And I can understand why, right? I can understand.
Fear index is high.
Yeah, so you have a few more. Let's see if there's any other good ones.
And when somebody has a good meal, they're very much going to be loud about if it's bad versus if it's great.
So here's one: nonsense jobs that will be only temporary until replaced by AI in the future. In case you haven't noticed, their goal is to get rid of us. That's interesting to me because in this situation, who's there? Bronson Rogers. I would love to know who's there. Who's their goal? Their goal is.
Yeah, who's they?
Who's they in this scenario?
It's the lump sum of the fear and chaos that is being spread.
Right? Like who's they? I don't get it. I don't know who they is. I'm just curious to know. I'm just not smart enough to know, I guess. But they're trying to deceive the people. AI is dangerous. We're doing just fine without it. I can't disagree with anybody that's saying that we're doing fine without it. That's not a bad take either. Like, is it necessary? I don't know. That gets into a philosophical question of how much do we value progress. History teaches you that we've always progressed as a human race, that's literally just kind of what we do. And there's exponential growth with how we're growing. Technology has ramped a large part of that up. So history shows that we're wired that way to grow and to improve. But for somebody to say we were better without it, I can't argue against that or not.
Comfortability is a real thing. I mean, we just celebrated 250 years of America. 250 years is nothing.
So funny you say that. We talked a lot about that this year because we were watching the Mexico game and different stuff. And I was just telling people, like, the perspective of 250 years, like, is
the
crazy.
Little drop in the bucket.
You pair it to Mexico. I think New Spain was from 1521 to 1821. That was 300 years before Mexico became Mexico. That was 500 years. The Aztecas and all of that, if you look into it, it gets double the length quickly. Then you go overseas to Europe. I mean, you're talking about 1,000 years. You know what I mean? Like, you have to fact check there, but you're absolutely right. So where I guess your point is, like, where are we going, right?
Where we're going, and we have to be okay with change because, I mean, every ancestor you've ever had since the beginning of time has had change. And change is going to happen whether you like it or not.
I want to know, like, obviously people know, right? These people, so they know that they're just commenting. I want to, like, I'm just curious, genuinely curious. Like, are you just like having coffee in the morning with your wife, and then you're just like, bullshit, fuck these people? Like, I'm just curious. Again, I'm not trying to paint them in a bad light.
Big reason why I left social media. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. It always feeds their soul a little bit, but
my curiosity gets the best of me sometimes, dude, honestly. But I just I really do. I just think like all these stuff that comes through. But anyways, for everyone that commented on our post, come check out RestroTech. Let us know what you think. Come check out what we're doing in our communities. We're very proud about the way we're using AI. I think AI is a necessity in today's world. And we have a responsibility to lead a purpose-driven mission within our company and make sure that we stay healthy so that the 1,000 people that we do employ, a little under 1,000, and all of their families, call it 3 per household, 3,000, 4,000 people. I know the rest of the world is operating and moving around us, but we have a responsibility to make good decisions because of those people. There's a function of we count on them, they count on us. And it's not a we, them, it's a togetherness of how do we move this company forward. And I'm sorry, if competitor A, B, or C is using AI in some way, there's no chance that we're not going to be looking into it, right? I think that's largely our obligation as leaders and as people that are moving the company forward. So, but then there's nuances, right? So you can't just brush stroke all of this. You've got to get into how it's being used and like to what John said is, well, did you say too much is given, much is expected? No, you said,
what, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, great power.
Spider-Man quote right there.
Hey, it's nuts, man. So, anyways, sidetracked us a little bit. I think it's important that we talk about those type of things on this. Maybe it's better if we just stay on just the technical and ignore all that. But why ignore a reality that's out there? One, it was our personal page. It's not like we're seeking this information out. And two, that's what I think most people are going to face in an office setting, and most people that are going to face in adopting some of this.
As we start having these conversations more publicly, that's what we're going to face constantly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little interesting. A lot of trains of thoughts there. Can you imagine, like, I'm just like, again, going down the curiosity thing, like, G's just walking on the street and people are like, fuck AI, like, what is it? Like, everyone's just relating.
Dude, I thought about that just because, there's like, people really hating it. So I'm like, I was thinking about it and I was like, just wondering, like, man, what if somebody just like recognized me for some reason and starts like trying to bash me or something?
Yeah.
And over the weekend, I was at the island. And I went for a jog in the morning down the beach while I was using my F&P AI shirt. So I'm running and I'm seeing people just like kind of staring me down. I don't know if it's because I'm running or because they're seeing the shirt. So I'm like, so I'm like starting to run faster and faster. I'm like, hey, you know what? I think I'm
that's crazy.
Running, man.
Yeah,
but
that's SpaceX's world over there too.
Yeah, well, I think it's some people hate it.
Yeah, they do.
People hate it. Yeah. So
I think it's important that we mention this now, but we're certainly not and this is where I get tripped up, John. But you were trying to help me understand this, but we're not somebody that's creating our own AI products, right? We're leveraging AI to improve our business, which is the restaurant business. It's, at the end of the day, what we're doing here is pretty simple. We're just serving people food, making people happy. But there's better ways to do it if we leverage AI. So I don't know the long-term impact of AI. I don't know what the data centers are impacting or not impacting. And I know I have a responsibility here. And we're going to stay on par with where the market's at. And so that's why we're looking at some of this stuff. So again, just want to reiterate that we're a restaurant company. Not defending ourselves, just adding clarity on where we're at. Did you see the data on the agent numbers, the sales volume for agents in 2026 so far?
No, I haven't.
I think it was like $200 billion already spent on agents.
Spent on utilizing agents?
Yeah.
Like different models?
Maybe like API costs or
I
something.
would assume that's API token usage.
Yeah, it is. I think so.
When you get into enterprise level, you don't pay for per account. You pay for kind of pay per usage practically.
Well, the reason I asked, okay, so
That's probably what's providing a lot of that.
AI agent spending hits 206.5 billion in 2026. Gartner projects AI agent software spending reaches 206.5 in 2026, up 139% from 86.4 in 2025. A Salesforce survey found agentic AI adoption jumped from 39% to 66% in the past year, with 70% of organizations reporting measurable returns within 60 days. Agents take autonomous action, not just answer questions. So my mind starts to get really blown when it comes to, well, that's just a few people using it.
A few companies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, you know, in the grand scheme of things. So it's really gonna ramp
Like I was
up.
looking at my token usage in general from Claude and some other things, and yeah, I'm like in the top 1% of people using tokens. There's not a lot of people who
Yeah,
are burning through billions of tokens.
yeah.
And like so it's
But you can see how that's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a problem.
if we look back in 2028 and at this, I'm sure that number is going to seem very small.
Correct. That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna become trillions very quickly. And what's
Yeah.
gonna happen there, right? I mean, is the government gonna step in, which they already are or trying, but and start to reshape some of this? I don't know, but I do like some of the comments from I don't know the guy, but the Anthropic CEO.
He has good ones and he has bad ones.
Right. I haven't heard a lot.
Some might say he's a little bit of a fear monger, but
Really?
yeah, when it comes to, he very much goes down the deep end when it comes to AI is going to replace people. Be ready. Like, so he does fall into that gap a little bit. But luckily, there's a lot of people like Boris within Claude and stuff who say that it is possible, but it's just really about the people who are
But
using
doesn't
it.
he have some sense of responsibility when it comes to the adoption?
He does.
Some sense, or maybe he's at least promoting it. I don't know. I think he should be responsible. But let's go back to the other comment where you were saying replace people. What do we really expect? Like, again, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but what? We're just all gonna walk around. Oh, we have nothing to do. Like, not. I don't see a
Let
scenario.
me give my point of view, because this is when I do think that there needs to be a little bit of fear. Is when the adoption, not when AI is just AI. Like I think that there'll be plenty of use for it as a tool, and it'll be there to empower people. It's when AI and robotics come together, and then when that becomes a norm.
That's a good point.
That
Right.
is when I think we need to look at things and really ask ourselves, like,
Yeah, I
is
mean,
it worth going down that route, or is it worth empowering the people that we still have here? Because robotics is the scary part for AI, because that's giving AI limbs.
Yeah,
and the ability to do things versus just say things.
Yeah, but my point is like, I get, and I'm not trying to make light of a situation, but so what? Like, I mean, I just look at things. I like to just let the imagination reel for a second. But I get that a transition period is gonna be painful.
Yeah.
But like, really, do we just really think that? I don't know, man. I'm not in the camp. I'm gonna say that real clear. I'm not in the camp where I can see this trajectory. So you're gonna have trillions, right? So the top end's gonna gain, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not in the camp that we're just gonna have all of a sudden 20% unemployment.
No.
Like, what are we just gonna all just be okay with that? No, I really think we're just gonna reshape. People are gonna value different things, and hopefully things like handmade tools or art or in a different way, humans adapt. And I think we're going to find a newfound passion, newfound value equation. And I think it's going to be different than today. But let me just give you this example: is in art, when you went back, I think I'm quoting this correctly. I don't know where I read it, but if you go back to the first canvas painting, there was. Did I tell you all this or no? You can.
I think I know where you're going. I think I've heard this before.
So the first canvas painting was like, what are you doing? Like that's.
Yeah, why would you do it on canvas? I think you did tell me this.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Why would you do it on canvas? Like that's not art. That's horrible. Like what are you doing? And they belittled the first canvas art. Then a lot of the art that followed was created on canvases.
No, majority.
Right.
Yeah.
The skill set of art is still there.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
So I don't know if the doom and gloom, it just doesn't sit well with me, because I think I'm very optimistic about the human race. I'm very optimistic about
It goes back to comfortability. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, computer wasn't a piece of tech. It was a job title for a human. That's what it was. And now here we are with a computer that is not a human. And those human jobs they went away, but doesn't mean that didn't shift towards other jobs of a human on a computer. So it's really people need to look at things in the macro and just stop looking at things so much in the micro.
I agree with that statement. I also feel for people because all they look at is themselves, and they look at how am I going to feed myself tomorrow? How am I going to feed my kids tomorrow? And that's a reality that we live in. But at the same time, I think we've always adapted, and we've always.
It's never been a reality we didn't live in either.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about like art alone, if I was an artist and I was concerned about AI generating art, I feel like that would just empower me even more, because it'd say, you know what, as an artist, I'm sure I'm hitting roadblocks or mind blocks where what do I create next? And if you have that creativity mindset, I feel like you're going to leverage AI to give you those ideas, maybe some of those blank spots that you might hit, and then essentially create better art. And in my
incredible
opinion, that's what I feel like.
Rafik Anadol, there's amazing artists. There's two sides of the coin.
Yeah. It sounds like I'm very animated in defending AI or what we're doing here, and to an extent, I'm defending what we're doing here. But it's not about defending AI. It's about defending
humanity.
Correct, and just being a good person and thinking positive and moving things forward. Like, I'm a firm believer in that. Like, I really think that we shouldn't lose sight of that just because there's some earth-shattering piece of technology.
Agreed.
Right? Now, if tomorrow these robots are freaking taking over, I'm gonna be like, shit, I got it wrong, dude. We're screwed. We're
Well, again, the robotics is that's a threshold we're going to cross soon, and nothing we need to have a conversation about yet, but it will happen. And
I'm certainly not smart enough to know the whole picture. But what I do know is the doom and gloom never has done us any good. Like, it's
and humans are going to advance and going to get past this, and the jobs will just shift.
Yeah.
But the jobs don't need to go away.
And we shouldn't just blanket things. Like, just if I got this keyboard and smashed you over the head and people wrote, oh, it was Apple keyboard, do we just say eliminate all Apple keyboards, they're bad? It's like, no, the human that used it was bad. Like, so again, probably a stupid analogy, but I mean, come on, let's look at some of the optimistic side of this. Not some of it, all of it. Be good, do good, believe in good. Like, I just really think that really helps. So anyways, G, we've ran over your pod today. Where else do you want to go with it?
Yeah, I mean, before coming to the closing, really for the operators watching, what does an operator need in place to build something like this?
Data.
Yeah.
More data, better outputs. You have the data, you can audit that and make it real nice and pretty and put it in a nice little pretty bow and send it over to the people who need it the most.
I think that's our second one. Is I always think of the API.
Yeah.
Now, but you got the data.
Yeah,
you got the data. You got data. That's always
got data.
The data and the APIs are always great. But APIs lead to good data. Yeah, I mean, start with your data.
It's always been about the data.
It always is about it. I mean, you're never gonna have a good accounting department if you don't have the right data. You're never gonna have a good operations department if you don't have the right data. Even without AI, like.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if AI was in here, Marcus is still going to go through those reports that are a million lines long.
I think it's super important that we remind ourselves that we're trying to improve behavior, right, in a company, all of us, me included, with this data. But you can't just look at the scoreboard. If you're looking just at the scoreboard, you're going to lose the game, right? So the whole idea, and John's hit on this several times, is let that scoreboard communicate a very clear, actionable item for you, and then go play the game, right? Better. Yeah. And that's what we're doing here. In our case, it's restaurants, right? Taking care of our customers and our team. We keep saying it. Yeah, can't just stare at just the data, right?
Yeah. Tough. And DSS has led to no anomalies in like 2 weeks, and it's just because now instead of Marcus going through data and having to go and act on it, He's just straight acting on it and going straight to trainings. And so now we have a very, I think at this point, trained team that is looking at these reports and really.
We also have largely great people managing our restaurants, and I don't think anybody, I may be wrong, I want to hear from them, but I don't think anybody's out there going, you know, I don't want to turn in my deposit. I don't want to.
No, not at all.
Dude, if people want to do right, it's a tool and it helps them. And I think the feedback that we've heard about this specific tool is a resounding thank you, right?
Yeah.
For the clarity.
It has been.
It's a clarity thing.
Yeah, it's a clarity thing.
They've even asked like for extra, like, man, it'd be kind of cool if you can add this on there. And
That's
then
true.
it shows up and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Those are my favorite things. Yeah, I love it.
That part is neat. So love hearing the feedback. It's definitely important. Anybody that's building out there, you know, that's why the client thing is really tough, right? Like the live testing environments, it's kind of nice.
Oh, it's nice, yeah, because it's for us and we see the value immediately. So
Yeah, it is neat.
All right. Well, if nobody's checking, nobody knows. Subscribe, share. This is RestroTech.
1、2、3、4